Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Yazm coming back with another video for you. So I haven't been on this channel for a really long time and I just wanted to talk to y'all about that. I really don't want this to be like a lecture because it kind of seems like that with the way I have this set up. But I don't want it to seem like that. I just wanted to explain how life has been for me, what has gone on throughout my life since I last made a video on this page up until now, because I feel like I have grown as a person. A lot of things have happened to me mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I just feel like, you know, knowing me and having this page here, I just want to be able to communicate with y'all and just give some advice, what I've learned, what experiences that I've gone through, and things like that. 2021, it was honestly a year full of depression and anxiety and a lot of stress. I was very unhappy with my life, with my choices. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, and it just put me in this pit where I felt like I couldn't get out. Like I literally, like I kept on trying and trying, and then that's when I got into the depression because I was just trying so hard to come out of it, and I was back into the same routine as always that was making me unhappy, and I just felt like I couldn't escape. I just wanted to like vent everything that has happened and kind of just share my experiences and what has gone on throughout the year of 2021. I don't know if any of y'all have been going through it, or if you know anybody that's going through depression or anxiety or overstressed, overworked, and they're just seeming unhappy. So I just wanted to share my point of view from what has happened with me and just give it to you all. In December 2020, I graduated from my undergrad, and then I made this big decision and I jumped right back into school to start all over. Not start all over, but to get into something that I have never thought about before, into a career that it never crossed my mind before, but I was looking at the financial benefits of the career. So in December 2020, I finished my undergrad. January 2021, I started I started school again. I got into this accelerated school. I was unhappy from the jump. Like I just did not like how the classes were laid out. It was just a lot of stress, and especially being somewhere where I was unhappy, where I was constantly thinking, like, am I sure? I like doubting myself if this is really what I wanted to do. It caused even more stress on myself, and that's what built up with my mental health issues. Plus, I was in a job that I really didn't like, with people that I felt like really didn't support me, and I felt like I couldn't be myself around those people, and just I was in an environment that was just making me unhappy. And y'all hear my dog snoring like he is knocked out. Anyway, I was in an environment where I could not be happy. Nothing was making me happy. I tried, and nothing. Like I felt there was no solution. So that's when I started growing this like negative attitude. I had like an I don't care attitude, this negative outlook on life. I'll just be like, you know, I just want to get through this, and then I'll get here and I'll get paid, and then maybe I'll move on to this, but who cares? Like I really didn't care about anything. I just wanted to get out, and I felt the only way that I could get out was if I just kept on going, be persistent at it. And it just was taking a toll on me. So that's when I noticed like I was becoming this pessimistic person. I was overstressed, I was overworked. I was in class for 8 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 3 to 4 days a week. Plus I was working full time. I would leave from work and then go to class, or go to class and then go to work. Plus I had to study. I was studying until like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And then I would have to wake up at 7 a.m. to take a test at 8 a.m. It was ridiculous. And then plus I was in clinicals. In clinicals, it's 30 hours a week. So I was in class, clinicals, plus working a full-time job and trying to make time for myself, which was literally impossible. And that is just really, it's too much on a person, honestly. I had no free time for myself. There was nothing called self-care for myself. It just didn't exist. Like my hair was never done. Like my hair was never done. What is makeup? What is taking care of myself? What is sitting down and relaxing? What is that? Like, that is literally how my life was for that long time. And it just kept on growing and growing. And I had this feeling inside of me that was growing and growing. And it just was getting worse. I felt incomplete. I felt unhappy. And I just didn't know what to do because I have never been that person. I have never been that person to give up. I have always like tried to persist, try to make the best of things. Like I was saying before, I became really pessimistic. Before I was always optimistic. I was saying I can do this, stuff like that. But I just changed. Like, I felt like I couldn't fight anymore for something that I didn't want. Um, and it took a long time. Like, I was in school from this entire program that I was in was for 19 months, and I went for 9 months or I'm lying to you. I went for 11 months of the 19 months, and that is why I felt like I couldn't give up. Like, I already got this far, like I had to start my career, things like that. And that's something right there that, like, as I have been growing, as I have been looking back and reflecting on myself and my life and taking time for myself, I was always thinking I can't start over. Like, I need to keep going. Like, it's already this far along in the program. Like, I can't give up. And that right there is the problem, because you're young. I'm young. I don't know if you're young, but it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, if you're still a teenager in your 20s and your 30s, you can start over. It's not a problem to start over. And that is something that I had to teach myself, because yes, I was 11 months into a 19-month program, but I needed to get out. Like, I really didn't care about getting the degree. I didn't care about the work I was doing. I enjoyed the patients, but I felt like it was not for me. And I couldn't keep going doing something that was making me so unhappy. Not really sure when my depression like started. There's never like a pinpoint, like a certain date and a time, and like, oh yeah, December 21st, this is what happened at 8 a.m. Like, I just went into it. No, that's not what happened. It just grew and it grew and it grew, like, small, over time. Like, it was just the little things, and it was just growing and growing and growing. And that's what put me into this pit. Like, I honestly felt like I was in a pit and I couldn't get out of it. I started developing, I feel like I have always had anxiety, but my symptoms started getting a lot worse. My heart would be palpitating really fast. Like, I felt like I just ran a race or something. My head would start hurting. I would have to close my eyes because I just couldn't handle it anymore. Like, my mind was racing. There's so many thoughts in my mind that I just couldn't get out of it. And it was all negative thoughts. It was all putting myself down, putting my future down. Like, just, it was negative. It was all negative. And that anxiety, and that negative thinking, plus how unhappy I was, it put me into that depression. There was a long time where I just didn't want to get out of bed. I couldn't get myself out of bed in the morning. You can ask my boyfriend, we live together here. Every morning I would say, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed. I just couldn't. Like, I felt like I physically had to drag myself out of the bed just for me to get up. And it caused, I'm not going to say a mental breakdown, but it caused a mental break for me. I quit my job. I quit my school. I dropped out of the program. I moved out of the house, out of my own house, and I went home to my parents, and I didn't pay any bills. I didn't care about anything. Prior to that, like a week or two prior to this mental break that I had, I was stuck in my bed. My hair was in a rat's nest. My skin, my skin was just, it was reflecting, because when you're stressed out, you're not drinking enough water, you're not taking care of yourself. It was reflecting in my skin. I was unhappy with my body. I was unhappy with the way I was looking. I was unhappy with how I was feeling. I could not get myself out of bed. I stayed in bed, and that right there made it worse for me, because once I'm in bed, I had the covers pulled up all over me and I was left alone with my thoughts. And that was a big fear for me then, because when I was left alone with my thoughts, it was honestly scary. So after that, like 1 or 2 weeks that I just was done with everything, I had that mental break. I left my house, I left my job, I left my school. I went back home to my parents and I stayed there. I didn't pay any bills. I didn't want any responsibilities. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I had my phone and I kept it on Do Not Disturb, or I turned it off. It was just me. And that is honestly the time where I said, I need help. That is really when I had to sit down with myself and have a good talk, look in the mirror, and I said, I need help. When I was going through this time, this program, working at that job, I did not listen to anybody. I wasn't asking for advice. I didn't take any advice. Somebody told me something, I would, just to be spiteful, I would go and do the opposite, because I felt like I have it all handled. I didn't need all of that. I couldn't listen. Like, not that I couldn't, but I didn't. Purposefully, I did not listen. Even if it was the best advice in the world, I did not listen. And that right there was a problem too. So yeah, so once I moved out and I went back to my parents' house, I felt calm. It took me a while to figure out what word I wanted to say, but I felt calm. I felt like I left my problems behind me. And I honestly was like, maybe I should just stay here. Maybe I don't have any responsibilities. I don't have to do anything. I could just stay here. But that's not what I wanted with my life. That's the reason I moved out in the first place. Not that I don't love my parents or anything like that. My parents were my biggest support. But it's because I wanted to start my own life. And yes, I failed. And that's something I had to accept. I failed at what I was trying to do. And yes, I did fail, but that does not mean that all of my life is over, that I can't do anything anymore. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to admit that you have failed, or I don't really like that word, but don't be afraid to give up. Giving up is not something bad. Giving up can be something good for you, good for your life. And it can honestly, how I'm looking at it, I was on my wrong path. God was sending me on a path and I took the opposite path. And that's just something I had to accept. So yeah, after I moved out, I had this long talk with my mom. And my mom is like my best friend. You know, not everybody has that bond, but maybe you have a special person that you talk to, a best friend, a sister, a cousin, who knows? I don't know. But she is my person, and I felt like I had lost that bond that I had with her because I was just so focused on the unhappiness, the negativity, trying to do something that I didn't want to do. So all in all, we had a long talk, and she gave it to me. She gave it to me straight. My mom is from Guyana, and she tells me what I need to hear, and she does not sugarcoat it at all. And that's exactly what I needed. She told me that I did not listen, that I rushed decisions, that I'm trying to be something too fast, and it was what I needed to hear. And maybe that's not, that tough love is something that I needed. Maybe that's not what you need at this time, but that's what I needed. And it all depends on the person. But hearing that from my mom, and then her coming back and giving me advice and telling me, Jasmine, sit down and think. Like, just take time to think. What do you like? What is your passion? Why don't you follow that? And that's what was like, oh my God, who would have thought that somebody just saying follow what you like would have been the thing to open up my eyes, you know? Like, I feel it's something that seems so self-explanatory, but it's not. Like, it's really not. I don't know if it's because of the way that society is or what, but I was following the money, and that's something I have to accept. I was following the money, and it's not the career that I wanted. It's not the field that I wanted, not the specialty, anything. I stayed by my parents for about 2 weeks to try and figure out like myself. And I started doing some meditation. I started taking care of myself, having some jasmine days, doing some self-care, having positive affirmations, just reading, looking up things to better myself. I sat down one night and I was just looking up my symptoms, and that is when I was looking up and I realized like I had a lot of anxiety. Even though during those 2 weeks I was getting better at taking care of myself, it was impossible trying to get rid of my anxiety. That's when I made the decision to get into therapy. So while I was over by my parents, I found a therapist. I didn't start therapy while I was there, but I did find a therapist, schedule an appointment, things like that, explained in like a little chat thing or whatever, explained like what's been going on. And that was my first step. And I think once I made those steps in the right direction, I felt that I can go back to being independent. So I came back home. It was a lot of difficulties. You know, my boyfriend was here. I had left him. I had left him here in the house while I had went back, and it was like us trying to build our relationship back, me trying to build myself back. It's a lot, but I knew it was something that I wanted to work for. It was really beneficial to me just to talk to myself and figure out, what does Jasmine want? What does Jasmine need? And that's what helped me to distinguish between what I like, what I need in my life, and what I don't need in my life. I have made a list. I have journals now. I have made a list of things that I want in my life and what I want to manifest. I have been doing positive affirmations. I've been going to my therapist. My therapist has really been helping me just unlock some things that I never knew was going on with me. I really recommend therapy to everyone. Sorry y'all, I got on a call that lasted longer than expected, and now my daylight is kind of going, so I'm just gonna jump right back into what I was talking about. So I was discussing therapy and how I feel that therapy is just, it needs to be for everybody. Not needs to be, but I just recommend it for everybody. You really have that support system. They're only to help you. They're not there to help anyone else. They're not there to put you down, to judge you. It's great, honestly, because it's just like an extra support that you need, well, that I need, and it's pushing me in the right direction that I want to go and that I need to go in order to benefit myself. Well, I just wanted to wrap this up, and I wanted to let y'all know that I am going to be updating you all with how my journey is going, with the things that I've been doing. Right now, I have been focusing on myself more, things that I like. I want to experience more instead of putting all my eggs in one basket and then breaking down when the basket breaks, you know? Like, I don't want that for myself anymore. I want something better, and I know that it's not always just gonna come just like this to me. I did have to cut some people out of my life, but I am trying to strengthen the bonds with the people who are in my life, who I really do care and love, and I know who care and support and love me. Just growing that social system, because honestly, I thought that I don't need any friends. I don't need anybody. That I can handle this by myself. And look how I ended up. So I know, like, you don't need to have 10,001 different friends, because they're not always your friend. Maybe out of that 10,001, one of them is really gonna be your ride or die. I am just trying to stay on this path, and I'm trying to become more spiritual. I'm honestly just working on myself. Like, I don't know where my future is headed. I don't know how I'm gonna be in the next 5 months. I know some things that I want and some things that I'm manifesting, because I do want and I will have them. I am doing this for myself, and I think it's time. It doesn't matter how old I am, because yes, I am 21, and you know, I have a lot of mistakes to go, and it's just a part of life. Like, those mistakes are what is going to build me. That I'm going to grow from my mistakes. And that's basically just the message behind this. I am going to keep y'all updated. I'm going to keep posting videos, and hopefully as time goes on, I am going to develop into the person who I want to be. I think that I have already gotten into that a little bit myself. You know, I've been changing a little bit, trying to mature, going into the lifestyle that I want. So I just want y'all to be here with me. If you feel that somebody that you know, or if you personally are going through something and you are manifesting that 2021 is your year and there are going to be some big changes that will benefit your life this year, this is your moment. Just connect in the comments, you know, just leave a nice comment down there, manifest it into the comment section, say what you need to say. We will, as a YouTube family, we will be better than we were in 2021. So I don't really like making these New Year's goals, but New Year's goals and manifestations are two different things, honey. So this year 2022 is going to have some big changes for us, and I am excited for it, and I'm excited for changes that's coming with you all, and I'm excited for y'all to see the changes that's going to be happening with me. And honestly, this is like a motivation for me. Like and comment under this video and subscribe to my channel. I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.